Narrated by Abdurrahman bin Abi Bakr, the companions of Sufa were poor people. The Prophet peace be upon him once said, whoever has food enough for 2 persons, should take a third one, from among them, and whoever has food enough for 4 persons, should take a 5th or a 6th, or said something similar. Abu Bakr brought 3 persons while the Prophet peace be upon him took 10. And Abu Bakr with his 3 family member, who were I, my father and my mother. The sub-narrator is in doubt whether Abdurrahman said, my wife and my servant, who was common for both my house and Abu Bakr's house. Abu Bakr took his supper with the Prophet peace be upon him and stayed there till he offered the Isha prayers. He returned and stayed till Allah's Messenger peace be upon him took his supper. After a part of the night had passed, he returned to his house. His wife said to him, what has detained you from your guests? He said, have you served supper to them? She said, they refused to take supper until you come. They, means, some members of the household, presented the meal to them but they refused to eat. I went to hide myself and he said, O Gunthar. He invoked Allah to cause my ears to be cut and he rebuked me. He then said to them, please eat. And added, I will never eat the meal. By Allah, whenever we took a handful of the meal grew from underneath more than that handful till everybody ate to his satisfaction, yet the remaining food was more than the original meal. Abu Bakr saw that the food was as much or more than the original amount. He called his wife, O sister of Bani Firas. She said, O pleasure of my eyes. The food has been tripled in quantity. Abu Bakr then started eating thereof and said, it, means, my oath not to eat, was because of Satan. He took a handful from it, and carried the rest to the Prophet. So that food was with the Prophet peace be upon him. There was a treaty between us and some people, and when the period of that treaty had elapsed, he divided us into 12 groups, each being headed by a man. Allah knows how many men were under the command of each leader. Anyhow, the Prophet peace be upon him surely sent a leader with each group. Then all of them ate of that meal. Narrated by Anas. Once during the lifetime of Allah's Messenger peace be upon him, the people of Medina suffered from drought. So while the Prophet was delivering a sermon on a Friday, a man got up saying, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him. The horses and sheep have perished. Will you invoke Allah to bless us with rain? The Prophet peace be upon him lifted both his hands and invoked. The sky at that time was as clear as glass. Suddenly a wind blew, raising clouds that gathered together, and it started raining heavily. We came out of the mosque wading through the flowing water till we reached our homes. It went on raining till the next Friday, when the same man or some other man stood up and said, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him. The houses have collapsed, please invoke Allah to withhold the rain. On that the Prophet peace be upon him smiled and said, O Allah, let it rain around us and not on us. I then looked at the clouds to see them separating, forming a sort of a crown round Medina. Narrated by Ibn Umar. The Prophet peace be upon him used to deliver his sermons while standing beside a trunk of a date palm. When he had the pulpit made, he used it instead. The trunk started crying and the Prophet peace be upon him went to it, rubbing his hand over it to stop its crying. Narrated by Jabir bin Abdullah. The Prophet peace be upon him used to stand by a tree or a date palm on Friday. Then an Ansari woman or man said, O Allah's Messenger peace be upon him. Shall we make a pulpit for you? He replied, if you wish. So they made a pulpit for him, and when it was Friday, he proceeded towards the pulpit for delivering the sermon. The date palm cried like a child. The Prophet peace be upon him descended the pulpit and embraced it while it continued moaning like a child being quietened. The Prophet peace be upon him said, it was crying for missing what it used to hear of religious knowledge given near to it. Narrated by Anas bin Malik. That he heard Jabir bin Abdullah saying, the roof of the mosque was built over trunks of date palms working as pillars. When the Prophet peace be upon him delivered a sermon, he used to stand by one of those trunks till the pulpit was made for him, and he used it instead. Then we heard the trunk sending a sound like of a pregnant she-camel till the Prophet peace be upon him came to it, and put his hand over it, then it became quiet.